Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. Um, I am going to talk to you today about the energies right now and dreams and parallel worlds or lives and astral traveling. If you hear some music in the background, hopefully it's not too loud. It's my fairy music. Listened to it for about 16, 17 years. So it's very calming and peaceful, and it helps me and my daughter sleep. And I have a cat at the door. I have a new chair so I can be a little bit more comfortable. I've watched a lot of interviews lately with several people that I follow and talking about the energies in the two worlds that we live in, the 3D and the 5D. I think we're kind of mixed in 3D and 4D right now, and the energies are very intense. I wasn't going to do a video on it. I was, and then I wasn't. There was supposed to be a huge CME hit Earth on the 2nd and the 3rd of this month in June. And apparently they said it didn't hit, but I definitely felt something. My daughter felt something. I was trying to go to sleep at night, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't get to sleep, and I just had insomnia, and I usually have that with solar flares. And Amber, I'm sorry. So I tried to go to sleep, and I heard a voice tell me, "You will get what you have been asking for." And I was like, wow, what was that? Like, I better write that down. Like, I've had voices like that in the past that have given me information. So I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. But after that, I started having like these intense feelings throughout my body, and I started getting, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like a pressure buildup in one area, and it was right in my solar plexus, and it literally just grew and grew, and you almost feel like this dredge coming over you, like, oh no, something's gonna happen to me. And all of a sudden it just grew really big, and then the energy just dispersed and popped, and it went away. And then I started having electrical feelings throughout my body, up, down one side, like a whole circuit, just going up one side and down the other. And then I remember it was like 2:19 in the morning, and I looked at the clock at 2:19, and I was like, oh God, I'm never gonna get to sleep. And I finally, I laid down. About 10 minutes later, I look at the clock again, and it's 3:36. I've had this in the past before, and I'm sure many people have, where you're missing time. And I was like, why? Oh my gosh, missing time. And my daughter usually doesn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning. And even she like came into my room, and she's like, Mom, my whole body is buzzing, just buzzing. And I was like, yeah, like I've been having some weird feelings too. And then shortly after she said that, then my body started just buzzing all over. But she said she was missing time too, that she tried to go to sleep, and she looked at her clock, and like she was missing about an hour or so. So very strange. I feel like I've had times in my past where I've had a lot of that, where I either you're jumping another timeline, or you're I don't know what it is, ascending to a different timeline. I don't know. Missing timeline, abduction, who knows? I could have that too. But yeah, it was really strange. But I know over the past few months, like it's very hard living in the 3D world and the 5D world. And I feel like 90% of the time I'm in the 5D or higher. Like I just don't want to be here anymore. I find it very, very hard to be in 3D. And if I have to go to town, I go to town just to do my grocery shopping or to go to the pharmacy, pick up something. So I don't get out a whole lot anymore because I just dread having to get in my car and going into town, because when you're living in the 5D all the time and you're up here in your energy, when you go into town and you're around people that are in the 3D, you have to lower your vibration to be around them. You have to dumb yourself down, like, oh yeah, this is going on, that's going on, you know. And you're like, I know so much more, but I can't tell you because honestly, like, you can feel them that they're not ready yet if you said something. So it is getting very hard, and hopefully soon we will be separating for good and we won't have to feel it. But it's like my previous video, if you watched it, when I talked about the books, the Gaia Project 2012, where he talks about in the beginning how humanity was here on the earth and how the higher frequencies were here first, and then the negative energies came in and the higher energies had to go down into 3D so that they didn't feel that pain anymore. And that's exactly what's happening now, is that we're feeling this 3D, and it's very hard of us that are awakened and in high vibration to be around people like this. Like, we don't even want to talk to them. We don't want to deal with them. We just want to, like, go within ourselves. And a lot of us who are awakened and in the higher energies are introverts. I'm a Scorpio, so I don't care. Like, I'm fine being an introvert. I'm fine being on my own. I like being on my own. So, but I just wanted to let people know, like, the energies, yes, are very, very, very intense right now. And it's only going to get worse, I think, through the summer with everything going on. So, talking about dreams, I've kept a dream journal since like 2010. And I literally, I had to go back and read some of my dreams, and boy, I bookmarked some of them because I'm going to read them to you. Some of them are very prophetic, I guess, or just things that are happening right now. It's intense. Like, I forgot a lot of my dreams that I wrote down, but going back and reading them, I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense now, and I knew it back then. So I'll read some of those to you. As far as just regular dreams, I feel like those are dreams that we have that we just maybe tend to forget, because we're actually, when we're sleeping, we are working on the other side. And maybe we're in another parallel universe, because of course we all are fractals of the source, and we each have an aspect of ourselves in the parallel worlds or other dimensions. So I feel like a lot of our dreaming has to do with, we're the ones we don't remember, we're working on the other side. Okay. I have a lot of dreams that I'm around a lot of people, and in the 3D here, I get very self-conscious, okay? And I don't like it. You don't like that feeling, because I don't like to call myself an intuitive or an empath, because we all are. We all are, to a point. We just need to tap into it. But as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, going back and looking over things and the things that I've experienced in my life, I am very intuitive because I've always sort of been awake. So I'm very intuitive about people, and I am a very strong empath because I do pick up a lot of energies from other people, and sometimes it's very hard being an empath because you can just cry. You cry at anything. You cry at a song, makes you sad, or you get one extreme and you try to get really angry, but I've toned that down over the last few years. So it's hard, but we all have those abilities. We just have to learn to tap into that. But so anyway, dreams, like I said, again, you tend to forget them because we're working on the other side, and that's why when you wake up in the morning, you're very tired and you have circles under your eyes and you're like, what the heck? Like, I know I slept all night, but I feel so exhausted. So those more are like dreams. Parallel worlds and lives for dreaming. When you dream, it's more like a past life memory. It's a fractal life. It's a cellular memory that you just remember. You remember that lifetime, or like sometimes I'll see myself in another body and I know it's me, but it doesn't look like me here. Or you'll look at yourself in the mirror in your dream and you know it's you, but it doesn't look like you. And those are really close for me for astral traveling too, because astral traveling is literally when you have all your senses. You can taste things, you can hear things, feel things. You have all your senses, and it's just like you're awake. And that is more like a memory too. So when you wake up, you're like, wow, and it just stays with you. So it's like you just did it. And I do feel over the years that I'm just experiencing when I dream. I love going to sleep at night because I want to go into that dream world. I want to go into that subconscious of experiencing that side, that other side, because I feel like over the past few years, my dream world has been weaving into my real world, and it's become my dreams, and my astral traveling has becoming more real than this 3D life. And it's very cool, actually. My cat is clawing at the door. So let me let her in just a second. Come on. Hi. Hi. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna get comfy here. So when I was younger, I had dreams all the time about evil things trying to get me, evil entities. And I swear it was after I played with a Ouija board at my friend's house. And actually, the story is that my oldest brother wanted a Ouija board, and us being a Catholic family, didn't go over too well. But he had called my mom from the toy store and he said, Mom, I really want a Ouija board, and he talked her into it. So yeah, this is the side where my grandmother played with tarot cards. So I just think it's funny. So anyway, he talked her into getting the Ouija board, and so he came home with it, and we all played with it at the dinner table. I took it to my friend's house one day, and we sat on her bed, and we sat there and told it, God loves you, God loves you. and it would spell out, it would go to the C. It didn't spell it out all correctly, but it spelled out all the letters, and it was U, C, and K, and then an F. So it was FU. And after that, we were like, no, I'm not touching. Like, I'm not touching it anymore. Not. And anyway, I had a dream that night, or a couple of days later, that I was in my friend's house, and I was looking up her stairway, and there was no one else around, and I was all alone in her house, and I couldn't get out. And all of a sudden, this huge wind slammed her parents' door shut, and I heard the voice say, "Get out." And it was really mean. And I just tried to get out the front door, and all of a sudden, like, my mom opened the front door and let me out. And that was my dream. But in my dream, her parents had double doors to their master bedroom, and they were into stained glass. And so in my dream, they had a stained glass piece over their doors. And so I told my friend about this dream, and she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God." She said, "My parents were actually thinking of doing that, putting stained glass above their doors." And I was like, "Oh my God, okay, I'm never playing with that thing again, ever, never." And I swear, ever since then, like, I've always had evil things trying to get to me through these dreams, and it wasn't until probably sometime after 2010 that I started hearing people and them saying what you can do in your dreams to get them out of there. And I started standing up for myself in my dream. I was able to finally stand up for myself and take control of that dream. And I would tell these entities, "You are not allowed around me. You are not allowed around me. You cannot hurt me. You need to leave." And they left. And ever since I did that, I really haven't had any severely bad ones. Like, once in a great while, like, they'll try and get me, and then I'll wake up and be like, "It's nothing." Like, before, it used to terrify me and scare me. And ever since I stood up for myself, I'm like, "You're not allowed to be around me in my energy. You need to leave." And they leave. So those are some of my dreams growing up. I do have a dream. I've told people this my whole life because I still never understood it until just recently. I had a dream when I was 5 years old. And I was never allowed, when I was little, I was never allowed to watch horror shows. I wasn't allowed. My brothers could, but I was not allowed. So to this day, I still haven't seen The Exorcist because I wasn't allowed to. So 5 years old, I had a dream that I was in some castle. I was in some dungeon, and there were wine barrels all over. And when I pulled the lid off the barrel, it was a bunch of cut up babies and just blood. And I'm sorry to say this, but that freaked me out. And that's all I remember. And now with everything going on with, like, human trafficking and the child sacrifice and all that, and I'm like, oh my God, was that, like, that had to have been a past life that I experienced, because it was so vivid and it stayed with me my whole life. So that's pretty weird. Moving on to like parallel past lives. I had a dream that I was on, I know it wasn't Earth, it was some other planet, and I was running from someone. I was running away because they were coming after us with these long needles. And these needles were like, they would seek you out like an AI, and they would shoot into you. So I was running away from these people. I was trying to get away. And so if anyone else has had this past life experience in a dream, please let me know, because I did watch an interview that Max Spears, the super soldier, did, and a lady stood up in the audience and she was asking him for her daughter. Her daughter was having these dreams of these people with long needles, or robots with long needles. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, that is my dream. Because in my dream, I was hiding behind something and they shot a needle and it literally went into my arm. And I woke up. So I don't know at that point whether I actually died in my dream or I actually, I don't know what happened. Another past life experience I want to say that I had, because it's more like a memory and very vivid. I believe I worked on what they thought was Noah's Ark. I was in a huge warehouse, huge warehouse, and the ground just started shaking. And I was like, oh, okay, here come the animals. All these different animals, elephants, zebras, started running into the warehouse. And, excuse me, I got cat fur. So all these animals started running in, and we had what looked like these cubes. Like if you're in a corporate environment and you work in all these tiny little cubes, we put these animals in these cubes. And I just remember I had an elephant, and what we did, we actually shrunk them down. We shrunk the animals down, and we took their DNA and we coded it. We had a barcode for these animals. And I remember going back to my desk, and I remember seeing like foreign symbols, like an alien language. And at the time in my dream, I could read everything perfectly. I knew what it said. And then I woke up. So that was really interesting for me, because then a few years later, after they had started the Ancient Alien series, and at one point, I don't remember which season it was, but they talked about how Noah's Ark was sort of like a DNA bank. And I was like, oh my God, that's my dream. That's my past life memory. I was there. I know what we did. And then I found an article probably a year or two ago about scientists barcoding each individual fish so they know what fish, what animal, whatever. I was like, oh, that's what I did in my past life. So that was an interesting one. I have had a lot of dreams that started out that are progressive, where I started out back in elementary school, and I've had a lot of dreams where I've been in school and I've been in classes, and each year it would progress, and it would go from elementary school, and then I was in junior high, and then I was in high school, and then recently I was in college, and it was all right, I'm advancing. And some of them I was on spaceships, and there was one where I kind of remember I was walking around. It was almost like a mall environment, but it was a spaceship. And I remember these big puffy round cats, and I was petting them as I was going about my business. And I had just gotten out of class, so I was having fun and I was doing my shopping. But I knew I was on a ship, and I said I followed Alex Collier for a long time, and in one of his webinars he was talking about if people who experience or have dreams about them being on spaceships or in classes, you're in school, you're on these ships and you're learning. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, validation. So if any of you have had that experience, let me know. I'm sure I'm not the only one experiencing these things. I did have a past life experience or parallel life, what you call it, astral traveling. Like I said, parallel lives for me and astral traveling kind of run hand in hand. At one time, I was on the moon with my brothers, and I was looking at the earth from the moon, and I just remember telling my brothers, okay, we gotta get ready, we're going down, we're going there, we gotta get ready. And I just remember like changing my clothes. I was getting ready to come to earth. I had a lot of dreams that I'm visiting stores. I guess because I'm in retail. I was in retail management for a long time. So I have a lot of dreams that I'm in a lot of metaphysical stores. A lot of stores with little statues or crystals and stones and lotions and holistic things. And I know there's been a few of them where like I had women like in those dreams like look at me like, what is she doing here? She's not supposed to be here. So I know like I'm astrally traveling to these places, and I'm not supposed to be there to them, but I am, and I'm just having a fun time shopping and looking at things. I did have a dream I was on Mars. So yeah, I think that was a parallel life, not, or astral traveling. I was on Mars. I remember huge wide domes with really long entranceways. And I was running, and I was with my mom and dad, and I ran down the corridor, I ran into the main part, and I was looking for something or trying to get away again. And then all of a sudden, I'm in this huge clear dome, I want to say it was like a cafeteria. And there's a huge screen, and they were trying to get me to eat. And I was like, I don't feel like eating. I'm not going to eat. And I kept trying to tell my parents, like, we need to go home. Like, we're not supposed to be here. We need to go home. And on the screen, there was a being. Please let me know if anyone knows what kind of being this is, because it was kind of cute, but it was a being with a round head. His skin was opaque, like clear white opaque, so you could see through it. It was kind of like if you live in Texas, or you lived in Texas, which I have in the past, we used to have these little clear geckos that were like clear skinned and opaque, and you could see through it. And it was exactly like that. And he had these big round, just really perfectly round eyes, and they were just bright blue. And he had a tiny little nose, and he had these little lips, and he had a headphone on that looked copper, and it was like circular spiral. And I don't remember what he was saying, but he was talking, and it's just very vivid. And that's kind of all I remember from the dream. I was like, bye, I'm going home now. And I woke up. So that was pretty interesting. And then the most significant dream, and I totally forgot about it until a few weeks ago, and I'm like, I gotta do a video about that, because I bet you I'm not the only one. I had a dream or a parallel life. Maybe it was my future self, part of my higher self, and I was on a spaceship, and there was huge windows, and there was a planet below us, which I'm assuming was Earth, and there was it's kind of like, not an escalator, but like at the airports where it moves sideways, it moves you. And my mom, I was petting an animal. I don't remember what kind of animal, but I remember my mom saying, hurry, you're gonna miss it. And she had a ticket in her hand, and I had a ticket in my hand, and her ticket had 20 on it, and my ticket had 21. 2021. Hurry, you're gonna miss it. I can't believe I forgot that one. I was like, this is the year. This is the year. Something major is gonna happen with all of humanity, and I had to be here. I didn't want to miss it. So, wow. So I'm going to read a couple other ones. Let's see. This one wasn't really a dream, but it was an extreme feeling that I was getting at the time. This was from October of 2016. I was in the in-between sleep and awake and had an overwhelming knowing that the veil will be coming down very soon, and we will all see if the illusion we will see the illusion that's been played on all humans. We will see reptilians and other beings. The photon energy will reveal their true identity, and humanity will take our Earth back. Nevermore will we be taken advantage of. That was 2016 that I wrote that. And I'll probably talk about this in another video too, but a lot of people who have high frequencies, we like to pop light bulbs all the time. I can't tell you how many bulbs I've popped trying to turn on a light or even being close to one. Being in retail, the cash registers would not like to work for me. Computers don't like to work for me. Those are some of the symptoms if you are high frequency. Like things like that will happen to you. This one has to kind of do with the church. This was from April of 2017. In my dream, it was me and my friend, and we were actually men in monk's robes. There was a gathering or a meeting in this closed-off room. I could see through the window. It felt like medieval times. There was like a TV screen, and it was a man who was like the Pope. I yelled into the window, "He is the devil!" I knew they would all come after me. I grabbed some stones and a small bottle or jar off the table, and we started running as fast as we could down a dock-looking pathway, and I jumped off and swung down a rope, but then hit the barrier and woke up. Isn't that interesting? He's the devil. And then that one. Okay. And then I have a lot of dreams about trains or tickets, ticket numbers. I had a dream once. It was me and my daughter, and we were coming home, and we were trying to get on this floating island to get away. And I handed the guy my ticket, and he says, "Oh, you're first class." And I was in room 33. I was first class in room 33. Hopefully everyone knows what that means. And I was excited because me and my daughter were going home. So that kind of just runs into my husband. He doesn't remember his dreams a whole lot, but several years ago, many years ago, he had a dream, and he was so shooken up by it, like really shook up by it, and it really affected him. And he told me, he said, "I don't normally remember my dreams," he said, "but I remember, like, you and Sydney I woke up and I couldn't find you guys anywhere. I looked everywhere for you, and there weren't anything but a bunch of men around, like working on their muscle cars. He said, but you guys were gone and I couldn't find you. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my gosh, like you had a prophetic dream. Like, hopefully when we all ascend, like, yeah, me and my daughter are very high vibrational, high frequency, and he is not. Like, he's gonna be one that's gonna be left behind, unfortunately. But anyway, I just want to talk about some of my experiences in some of my past lives and astral traveling, and I have just some of the best ones. Like, I can remember being on the other side and it was dusk. Like, it never got completely dark. It was dusk time and we had a party, and I just remember tasting all the things we had, and it was so good. And I have so many dreams where, like, you eat something and you actually, when you wake up, you're not hungry because you already ate in that astral astral travel. I did have a dream. I do have a lot of dreams with animals and big cats. I had an awesome visit. I want to say maybe it was Aslan. I don't know. I think it was my feline lion being family. I was just in this huge field. It looked like Ireland. It was just grass. And I look up and there's the big male lion coming towards me with two cubs. And it was like family. And I was so excited, and I ran up to him and I was playing with them, and I just remember hugging the big male lion, and I could literally feel the coarseness of his fur. And it made me cry, and I woke up. Oh, this just remembers I had a really extreme past life or parallel life somewhere. This dream affected me more than any other one. I totally forgot. See, as I talk about it, I can remember more, but I don't know if we were Palladian, I don't know, but everybody around me was like 9 feet tall and blonde, blue-eyed. And we were at at a dock. There was a ship, and it was like a girls group was all gathering, and they were going out to do their game or whatever they were doing. And I just remember one of the girls was my daughter, and I'm like, of course she doesn't look like my daughter now, but I felt her energy, and I was like, that's my daughter. And she was going off, and just the energy of that dream and being there with these people, and just, yeah, the feeling of it was really tremendous. And I woke up from that dream and I just cried. I lost it. I was crying and crying, and I just cried so hard. I started looking at everything around me, and I'm like, why do we have all these material things? We don't need them. We don't need any of them. We don't need any of this crap. And I was just crying, and it took me a good 10 minutes to calm down. And I think I asked to have an experience like that, and I haven't had one since, because maybe I thought I couldn't handle it. But it was a great experience. So we all have family out there. We all have family beyond this planet. And there's a lot of ships out there right now, and they're all here to see what is going to happen. So none of us knows what's going to happen, what this event is going to be. Hopefully, it's something really awesome. And I just know I'm looking forward to going home, because I really want to go home, because I'm really tired of the crap here. And I'm sure a lot of you are too. So anyway, I could probably talk forever, but I don't want to make this too long. So thanks for listening, you guys, and thank you to all my subscribers. I know I don't have that many, But everybody that subscribes, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I've had, like I said, I've been this person my whole life, and it's just nice to be able to finally get out there and share. I didn't really want to do these videos. I didn't want to put myself out there, but my friend told me, hey, we're gonna need to start a channel, because when the truth comes out about everything, like they're gonna need our help. They're gonna need our help. So I'm just sharing with everybody my experience. Hopefully it helps you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. I have felt alone my whole life, and pretty much over the past 10 years, and man, over this last year, it's great that so many people are waking up. And I'm sorry for those of you that you've had everything thrown at you within this last year, and that's really hard waking up that way. But when you've had years and years where you feel like you've been alone, there's no one to talk to, like, I'm just glad I'm going to put all this stuff out there for you guys, and you can take what resonates and what doesn't, and hopefully it helps you. But just know you're not alone. None of us are alone, and we have days where it does feel like that. But I promise you, I can feel it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, I can feel it, that we're going to get through all this, and where we're headed is going to be so, so wonderful. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Take one day at a time, and just breathe, and just be yourself. Okay, and don't worry about what other people think. I'm still trying to learn that lesson myself, and not be so conscious about what others think. But you know what, I'm getting older, and you know what, I don't care. So you can watch me or not watch me, I don't care. I'm a fun person when I want to be, and I'm a serious person when I want to be. So I love you all. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.